Hey YouTube family, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Molly Pelletier and I'm a registered dietitian specializing in all things digestive health, specifically acid reflux, GERD, and LPR. And if you're new to this community and you're struggling with acid reflux, I'm so glad that you found this page. This is a really great resource for you to learn more about acid reflux, nutrition for acid reflux, mealtime strategies. So definitely check out my acid reflux playlist for tons of tips on how to support yourself with acid reflux. And if you're not familiar with my journey with reflux, definitely check out all of my videos on my personal journey. So I went to school to become a dietitian. I got my undergraduate and master's of nutrition science, and throughout that time in my undergrad degree I really struggled with acid reflux, and that's when I started posting about reflux. So I have been posting about reflux for a really long time, and I was able to overcome my GERD and my IBS. And that's why I decided to use my degrees to specialize in digestive health and then further subspecialize in acid reflux. So I love chatting about reflux. It's my favorite topic, and I'm so glad that my YouTube and Instagram and TikTok have been so helpful for a lot of you in your acid reflux healing journeys. So if you haven't subscribed to this community, definitely subscribe down below for weekly YouTube videos. I'm going to post more on YouTube, but I post daily on Instagram and TikTok, daily acid reflux and gut healing tips there. So definitely follow me on those platforms and say hi. Let me know you're from YouTube. So today we are diving into a question that I get so frequently on Instagram and YouTube, which is, can you actually heal acid reflux? Can you cure or stop symptoms once you get acid reflux? So this is a really great question, and I want to start by talking about what is acid reflux. Acid reflux is literally just when the contents of your stomach reflux into the esophagus. So this is your esophagus. They are traveling upward into the esophagus, and when they are acidic after a meal, this can cause irritation in the lower esophageal sphincter as well as the tissues of the esophagus. And so this refluxing, this regurgitation over time can cause feelings of pain underneath the rib cage. Heartburn is a really common one, throat pain, post-nasal drip, or coughing. Your body might produce mucus in response to the acidic reflux. So sometimes you can get mucus in your throat, post-nasal drip. You may feel nausea. Some people experience difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, something that feels like heart palpitations, which for a lot of people, it's actually not your heart. It just feels like a palpitation sensation, and that may be actually spasming of the esophagus. So I have had clients, who have esophageal spasms. Those are a few key symptoms. Also having a bitter taste in your mouth, that's another big one, or even regurgitating food. So some symptoms to keep in mind if you're experiencing those. Acid reflux is something that you definitely want to see a doctor for and take the necessary precautions to prevent it, because it can be really irritating for the esophagus and the tissues of the throat as well. So that being said, in order to treat and really recover from acid reflux, what I have found is super helpful is to understand what is driving your acid reflux and what are your major root causes. So I do have a whole video dedicated to talking about the root causes of acid reflux. However, a few things to keep in mind. Most people, when you go to the GI doctor, they will recommend a endoscopy to look at the tissues of your esophagus and see if there is any erosive damage, to see if you have a hiatal hernia, to see if you have any lower esophageal sphincter malfunctions. The lower esophageal sphincter is the sphincter that connects the stomach to the esophagus. They will test you for H. pylori, so an infection in the stomach that may be causing the reflux symptoms. More often than not, my clients come back to me with a negative endoscopy, so it doesn't show anything in particular. But that doesn't mean that you're at the end of the road and that there's no other tests that we can run, because there's absolutely other things to look at. Other tests that you may want to look into if you are trying to understand your root cause of acid reflux is a barium swallow. So looking at the swallow function, you may want to get an esophageal motility test or a gastric motility test. These tests are testing your motility, which is the speed at which the food you eat goes down through your esophagus and through your stomach and gastrointestinal tract. If you have slow gastric emptying, if things are hanging out in the stomach longer than you would want, sometimes this can leave you more susceptible for reflux. Or if things are not moving along the GI tract as they should be, this can kind of create like a traffic jam. So looking at that, your GI doctor, depending on your symptoms, may also do a KUB scan, kidney, ureter, bladder scan, which is a scan of your abdomen to see if you have a ton of stool in your intestine. If you have constipation, this is really, really key to look into because constipation is a major root cause of reflux. If you think about it, constipation is kind of like a traffic jam. Things cannot move through, and we want things to move through and out the digestive system. Reflux is when things are coming back up. So constipation could be another thing. You could look into getting a scan or just addressing constipation. Other things like hormonal imbalance, so hypothyroidism, if you have symptoms of that, you definitely want to get that looked at. In addition to that, seeing an ear, nose, and throat doctor. If you have a lot of the symptoms of LPR, which is laryngopharyngeal reflux, that is when you have the throat symptoms of reflux. So feeling like something is stuck in your throat, really voice hoarseness, sore throat, postnasal drip, coughing, those types of symptoms. Going to an ear, nose, and throat doctor and having them look at your larynx and potentially recommend any tests to look at your swallow function or the esophageal motility could be a helpful next step. Another test for assessing root causes of acid reflux may be a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO test. That is a breath test that tests for the presence of bacterial overgrowth, and that can be really helpful because SIBO is a condition that has a lot of overlap with IBS, and it can cause a lot of gas and bloating and constipation, which can then contribute to acid reflux. So there is a connection between SIBO and acid reflux. Lastly, a test that I run with my clients called the GI map stool test. This is really, really helpful to understand how your digestive system is functioning. So we look at the whole microbiome, overgrowth that may be contributing to symptoms or constipation. We look at digestive enzyme production, inflammation. That's a really helpful test that we run with my clients in FLORA Nutrition in my private practice. So I hope that was helpful in kind of giving you a rundown of how to look for a few root causes that may be driving your acid reflux. A couple other things that may be driving your acid reflux. One big one that no one likes to hear but is true for 99.9% of my clients is chronic stress. We know from research that stress can cause mechanical acid reflux. It can cause that regurgitation of stomach contents into the esophagus. And we also know from research that stress management decreases acid reflux symptoms. And that is a clinically significant finding. Diaphragmatic breathing can really help prevent acid reflux, believe it or not. If you don't believe me, go search on PubMed or watch my other video on acid reflux remedies. But chronic stress is absolutely playing a role in acid reflux. I see this across the board with my clients. If you are struggling with anxiety, stress, you really want to try to think about how you can support yourself with this. Maybe it's 10 minutes of quiet time in the morning, 10 minutes to unwind after your workday. Really, really critical that you take care of your mental health with reflux because having reflux is stressful. So that causes stress in and of itself, but then stress can also cause reflux. So it's this cycle that so many people can get stuck in. I was stuck in. My clients are often stuck in, so we really, really gotta prioritize both. And next is your eating habits. I see this a lot. Some of us may be more susceptible to reflux to begin with for some other root causes like slow motility or the other root causes I mentioned, but then our eating habits get in the way. So if you are someone who's a super quick eater, or you don't chew your food, or you eat really late at night, or you go long stretches of time without eating and then have a really, really large meal, all of this can contribute to reflux. If you are struggling with disordered eating, that is another root cause of acid reflux. So 90% of people with an eating disorder are struggling with a functional digestive issue such as reflux or IBS. I see a lot of people with disordered eating in my practice, and there's a big root cause connection between disordered eating and acid reflux. So really seeking help there and making sure that you are eating balanced meals, smaller, more frequent meals, and getting enough nutrition is absolutely key. So that's our rundown of what are the root causes, because like I said, we need to address the root causes in order to heal. So to answer this question, can you heal from reflux? Yes. If you don't believe me, go watch my other videos, go read all my testimonials from all of my clients. This will give you a lot of hope. And that's why I started this channel, to help people see that there is a future without symptoms, or a future with very, very minimal symptoms that are in well control. It is possible. And definitely go read my testimonials if you need some inspiration or some stories to help you power through this moment that you're in with your reflux journey. But In order to heal, what we need is a personalized and consistent approach. So what I see so frequently is people come to me and they feel like they've tried everything for reflux. They've tried the nutrition, they've tried the acid water diet, they've tried Dr. Kaufman's protocol, they've tried stress management, they've tried PPIs, they've tried everything, but it hasn't worked for them. And it's because perhaps you have not tried everything altogether. And you need to be consistent with both nutrition, lifestyle, the way you eat, stress management, and strategic supplementation. And so we need to put all of this together, and I'm going to go through each one and tell you what they are. But you need to have a consistent approach. You need to give it enough time and trust your journey. So I see a lot of people who are taking kind of bits and pieces of different people's protocols that they see on the internet and sort of being their own self-manager of their reflux symptoms, and it can get really, really confusing, and they don't end up sticking to one treatment plan. So here's the thing. We need nutrition, like I said, lifestyle, stress management, and strategic supplementation. These are the pillars of the FLORA acid reflux healing protocol, and I'm going to go through each of them and kind of describe each pillar. And I have found that this 4-pronged approach is super, super helpful in helping people get relief. So the first one, nutrition. You've probably seen a lot of things already about low acid and acid reflux diets, all that stuff. And there is a time and place for it, and it can be really helpful. Like if you have laryngopharyngeal reflux, the LPR symptoms of the burning in the throat, a lot of voice hoarseness, or feeling something stuck in your throat, avoiding acid could be really important for you. So you do want to stick to the more basic foods. But what I have found with the majority of people with acid reflux is that you don't have to get so into the nitty-gritty of pH of every single food. I have found that avoiding the main acidic foods is often enough. So avoiding citrus, vinegars, alcohol, coffee for a little bit. We of course would want to, if you love coffee, which I totally get because I love, the goal would be to reintroduce these foods. But in the beginning, giving your tissues a moment to heal, avoiding those things can be really, really helpful. And avoiding the main reflux triggers like chocolate, carbonation, spicy foods, fried foods, avoiding those things in the beginning can give your body a chance to recover. And then we can do some deep dive into your personal triggers and your threshold amount. Threshold amounts is a concept that you need to know about if you have acid reflux, and that is what amount can I have this food and be okay and not have symptoms. So a lot of people have a threshold amount with coffee, for example. Coffee is something that I love helping my clients reintroduce, you know, having maybe just 4 ounces of coffee, or having half coffee, making sure you're having that with food, identifying, you know, what is the threshold amount that you can have this, in what way, maybe pairing with food, having with milk, something like that, so that we can allow you to diversify your diet. Because the issue with these super restrictive low acid diets is that they're not always sustainable and they cause a lot of anxiety. So my approach, which has been successful, is really removing individual triggers and the main reflux triggers in the beginning, with the, you know, the goal to reintroduce, to get your symptoms under control. But I don't get into the nitty-gritty of like the pH of every single food, because also the pH can change depending on the season. Some of my clients don't tolerate kiwis well, and so we personalize, you know, that for an example of a higher acid food. I have found that not getting too into the weeds and just really trying to stick to keeping the diet as broad as possible without the reflux triggers has been helpful. Adequate nutrition is key, so making sure that we're, you know, reversing any nutrition deficiencies. A high quality of multivitamin might be helpful there. Nutrition deficiencies like B12, vitamin D, zinc, iron, that could be contributing to your reflux. So definitely something to look out for there. And then in terms of your lifestyle habits, so that is another pillar that we gotta focus on. So the way that you eat, definitely check out all of my tips in my acid reflux playlist. And I have a ton more tips on my app, FLORA, as well. FLORA is a great way to get involved with FLORA nutrition and get your questions answered and get support in your healing journey. FLORA, my app, has a Heal Acid Reflux step-by-step program in the app, and then tons of acid reflux friendly recipes. And I also help you design a flexible meal schedule and a gut healing protocol in the app. But one thing that is really, really helpful in terms of lifestyle is having a flexible meal schedule. So making sure that you're not going too long in between meals, and really having a plan for your nutrition for the day can really, really help, so that we are having those smaller, more frequent meals, and then planning for an earlier dinner. Earlier dinner is key, and ideally we would want to have breakfast or lunch be your largest meal. So I know that can be a big change for a lot of people, but that has been helpful. So we talked about lifestyle, Next thing is stress management. You absolutely have to start managing stress and incorporating nervous system support, because your nervous system controls your motility. It controls how quickly food moves through the body. And if things are coming back up, sometimes this is a nervous system issue. And so we definitely want to incorporate, a 5-minute dance party after work, a 10-minute meditation or journaling session in the morning, making sure that you're not working all of the time and having fun. Having fun releases endorphins, and it sometimes is the missing ingredient in a gut healing journey. Lastly, strategic supplementation. This is really personalized to the person, but what I will say is that one supplement that has been really, really helpful for so many of my clients is Reflux Raft. Reflux Raft is an alginate. It's literally an algae supplement, and alginates have been used for years in Europe by our colleagues, and they're starting to be used now very widely in the US by ear, nose, and throat doctors and GI doctors. So if you haven't been recommended this by a GI doctor or an ENT soon, you might in the future, but alginates are awesome and super helpful. And it's literally just algae. And when you take it, it creates this gel raft at the top of the stomach in the area that connects the stomach to the lower esophageal sphincter, and it creates this gel barrier to physically block reflux. They're awesome. It also has a little bit of sodium bicarbonate to neutralize some acidity of this area. I love Reflux Raft because it also has DGL, which is a very functional ingredient in terms of decreasing inflammation in the GI tract. I also love that it has no added sugars. So that's a really great supplement to add in. It's very, very safe. It's safe for long-term use, safe for teens and children as well. So really, really great. You could always check with your doctor to be sure, but I love this supplement. And so that is something that I use with my clients who are weaning off of PPIs. In terms of other supplements, we would want to make sure that you are, getting vitamin replenishment and also getting enough protein, potentially using mucilaginous herbs like slippery elm or DGL, deglycerated licorice root. Those are some things that I use pretty commonly. I hope that was helpful in terms of explaining the 4 major pillars of acid reflux healing. So to answer the question in summation, absolutely 100% possible to heal from acid reflux and really get your life back. Incorporate the foods that you love again. Identify the threshold amounts that you can incorporate these foods in. It's 100% possible. And if you're looking for more support, I highly recommend checking out my offerings, which right now are my one-to-one programs. Reflux Relief is my program for helping people overcome acid reflux. And this is where we design a personalized nutrition plan, a strategic supplement plan, and really walk you through the lifestyle changes that you personally need to make to overcome acid reflux. That program is accepting new clients right now. It is filling up very, very quickly. So by the time you see this video, if there is a wait list, you can join the wait list down below, or you can request a discovery call down below and we will get back to you. Secondly, my other offering is my FLORA app. So if you are looking for something to start right now and get involved and start your reflux healing journey, manage stress, heal the gut-mind connection, definitely check out FLORA app. The FLORA app is really a great accessible way to get started on your reflux healing journey. In the meantime, let's connect on socials. Be sure to subscribe here, hit the notification bell so you get notified for new videos, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see down below. I'm going to be making more videos, so comment your requests. And also head over to TikTok and Instagram for daily acid reflux tips, daily reminders, inspiration. I will see you there. Send me a message and let me know that you're coming from YouTube. I'd love to connect, and I will see you at the next video.